No clue if I'm doing this right or not. I got a gimbal and I'm still learning how to properly track faces and make this look as professional and smooth as possible, but I am learning so much through this process. I also started filming in wide angle because I was filming in vertical before and I didn't even notice that until I uploaded to YouTube, and I was like, oh, you know, my screen is squinched now. So hopefully these are gonna look better on your TV now. And I also just learned that I was filming in high quality, but I apparently was not uploading in high quality. I was uploading in standard quality. So moving forward, I'm hoping my videos are going to be a lot clearer for you on YouTube as well. I apologize for our first few videos being blurry. I'm using like the newest iPhone to do this, but it's, like I said, a whole learning process. We are farmers here. We don't normally do this. I was just doing Instagram before and Facebook Lives, and they were, you know, pretty short. So this whole new video making experience is totally new for us, and I hope it's going to be like a really good learning experience for us as well. And hopefully we can carry this on and learn more as we go. Hey everybody, how are you today? Just jumping on here. It's Saturday at the farm. We are in Northeast Maryland and there is a huge snowstorm coming tonight. I think it's coming like across 40 states, they said, so a lot of you should be getting this. But I thought I'd do a video today with my husband on kind of how we prep for snowstorms. I kind of show you how he preps for freezing weather, snow, ice, and keeps the cows fed, happy, and we still have to be able to milk them twice a day. So kind of what all plays into that. I'll show you some tips and tricks for keeping things not freezing up in this weather, and, you know, not guaranteed that our stuff isn't going to freeze up, but we try the best we can. Last night was really windy, and I think when my husband came in this morning, he woke up at 3:45 and he was out the door. Sorry. That's our driveway doorbell for customers coming in when I'm in my office. But he was out the door by, I'm going to say like 4:15. So he was here pretty early, and I think the lowest it got last night was 6 degrees. So he said when he got here this morning, stuff was just starting to freeze up. So I was really glad he was able to get here early.
Anyway, we're sitting in the cheese trailer here trying to soak up some warm weather and figure our technology out this morning. Been spending the last couple days getting ready for this bitter cold front that's coming through and the snow. Unlike normal people, we have a lot more to worry about than just whether or not we have enough milk and bread and eggs in our pantry. With the cows, we have a full day's of work for several different people that goes on every day, regardless of the weather. So we have to make sure that we are prepared to do all those things with this weather. We have 150 cows that eat, drink, get milked, tended to every day. Cows are naturally warm-blooded. They actually like cooler temperatures. 20s and 30s are wonderful weather for the cows. These single digits and negative temperatures are a little bit chilly for them, but not crazy awful. It's more making sure that we keep water flowing to be able to water them, keeping fuel ungelled in our diesel motors so that we can feed the cows, clean up after them, keeping all of our equipment running, making sure that our milk truck can get in. Our milk gets picked up every other day. We were scheduled to be picked up in the middle of the night, Saturday into Sunday, kind of right when the snow was scheduled to start. We talked with our milk hauler, and he actually came in this morning a little bit early, and we shuffled shifts around. We also had a load of feed got delivered this morning. We grow 80% of the feed for the cows, but we do buy in a little bit for them. So we made sure we had plenty of feed here on hand to be able to keep all these ladies happy. We've been running around the last couple days trying to make sure that windows are shut and all our tractors are full of fuel and we have plenty of inventory of supplies. Most of the time we're trying to open our barns up to keep the cows cool. At 40 and 50 degrees, cows start experiencing a little bit of heat stress even. So not in our environment here, we're trying to get a lot of air exchange for them. So when we do get these minus negative degree wind chills, it really makes it challenging to close stuff back up. We normally feed the cows twice a day. Calling for these big storms, it's looking like Sunday tomorrow is going to be all hands on deck, just trying to survive and get through things. We actually made an extra batch of feed here this morning, and we're going to make another batch again this afternoon, in addition to the 2 batches that the cows normally would have gotten anyway. So that hopefully we won't have, that'll be one less piece of equipment we have to start tomorrow.
So yes, he is going to be on here soon, and he's going to talk to you kind of what his thought process is with managing the cows, trying to keep things thawed out, and, you know, keeping everybody fed and happy.
This is straw. That is the fodder from a wheat crop that we took off this summer. Anyway, we use that for bedding for the calves. We normally bed up once a day anyway, but with the extra cold, we're gonna put extra straw in for extra insulation for these calves. They don't have the luxury of taking jackets on and off like us, so we're gonna give them a little extra insulation, keep a little bit warmer. Plus, with the bad weather they're calling for tomorrow, we're trying to get as many extra things done today so that tomorrow we can worry about just getting the have-tos done and dealing with the snow and the cold. These guys are going to be our milk cows when they grow up. They get fed twice a day. They get water, grain, milk for some of them. In the cold weather, their water buckets freeze. This is a giant ice cube that came out of a calf pail this morning. So this is an example of why winter weather takes longer for us. We feed and water the calves twice a day, but when it's cold, we get these giant ice cubes in the calf pails. We have to get them out before we can give them new fresh water. So this was left over from this morning. So we talked about the cows being kind of warm-blooded and being ruminants. They have that big vessel that helps keep them warm and they eat more. But on these babies, they're a lot smaller, so they don't have that great big rumen to help keep them warm. So we've got to do a little bit of extra work to keep them warm and comfy in this cold weather. They like getting new straw. They'll get the bucket and carrying on right after they get their new fresh beds made.
What about the mid-size heifers in the other shed?
So our teenagers in the group housing, they get a TMR ration. They get silage and grain. We'll bed them up a little bit extra too. They're pretty tough little creatures. Give them some extra bedding, give them a little bit extra food, and they'll be happy. These littlest ones down here are about 2 weeks old. They'll transition out of these individual pens at about 3 months and go into their first group house. So they'll be about 10 or 15 of their cohorts, similar age. They'll be in a group together, kind of like when you go off to school.
So, like, what's the biggest thing, like, if people have calves at their farms, like, what's the biggest thing to worry about with the cold weather?
The biggest thing's keeping them dry and the draft off of them. So make sure they have somewhere dry they can get to and away from the wind and the draft. I've seen it way too many times where somebody will have a calf in a barn and it's got a hole the size of a volleyball, and there's a breeze coming across that calf, and it'll kill the calf in a couple hours. Even though it's not that cold, it just pulls all that heat off of them. The other thing is keep them off concrete. You know, like, these are stone floored stalls, but if this was a concrete floor, it would be extra important to make sure that we have a really thick layer of bedding there as insulation to keep that calf warm. You stand on cold concrete, it makes your feet cold. Just imagine if that's what you're sleeping on. These are our first group of grouped house calves. They're like 3 to 6 months old. They transitioned from those hotels that we were just in, those individual pens, and they come in here as a group. They get introduced to forage here. We feed a silage and grain mixed to them. They're getting big enough where they're starting to be able to utilize that rumen and really be efficient with that and utilize the feed that other animals wouldn't otherwise be able to. These calves are bigger, they've got bigger mass, they're able to stay warmer a little bit easier. Still have to keep them dry, keep the draft off of them, but much harder than the little babies are. I know, I scared you. So in the hotels, I was talking about going through and having to dump that water bucket out twice a day, every day. We cut off 55-gallon barrels for these calves. This is one of them right here. It's a little harder to dump that out when we get a big ice cube. With this group, I keep 2 tubs there, and in the cold weather, what we do is we'll fill one tub up, let them drink it. When it gets frozen, we pull it out of the pen, let some sun work on it, go ahead and dump it out, and then the other tub is in there for them. So we kind of switch back and forth between glasses for them.
Thank you, God.
Okay. So these are our dry cows. They are our expecting moms. 2 months before they're due to have their next calf, we dry them off, which basically we stop milking them and give them a rest vacation. Gives them time to get prepared for that next, having that baby, getting their udder primed up for making milk for that next lactation. Anyway, these cows drink a lot more water. They're bigger, they're thirstier. We use automatic drinkers for them. Have an insulated tank and it has an automatic float in it. Pretty much leave it and forget it. 340 here, she's having a drink right now. When it gets really cold, sometimes we have to go through and I'll take a shovel here and we'll break the ice off of it. This big bale that's sitting here in front of it, we're using that as a windbreak to help protect it. We're relying on the cows drinking water and new water coming into that tank to help heat the tank and keep the valve from freezing. Our well water's coming in at roughly 45 or 50 degrees. As long as they're drinking enough water, it'll go ahead and keep things warm enough so that it doesn't freeze. But in real bitter extreme, there are times where we've had to pull big torpedo heaters out and shine heat on it. I've spent the middle of the night a few times during blizzards and cold storms fixing water pipes. Plumber's bad enough in sunshine. It's really no fun in Arctic sub-zero temperatures, so we try really, really hard not to have to play plumber, especially when we already have a bunch of extra work to do with the cold weather. We are in our milk house. This is a really important room for us. All the milk goes in the bulk tank. We do our calf calf feeding prep out of here. All of our wash controls for the barn are here. A lot of the water that goes throughout the farm comes through this building. So this building is really, really, really important.
Windows.
So we cut these windows in to allow the heat from our compressors to come into this room and be reclaimed heat. So this morning it was 5-6 degrees out, and at the end of milking, our milk house was almost 70 degrees using only the heat that came off those compressors. We only milk a few hours out of the day, so we do need supplemental heating here. I've got a little electric heater hanging in here. That's generally enough heat to keep us going in our non-milking times. In this real bitter cold, I go ahead and I bring out the big guns. I've got a big torpedo heater here that's fired by diesel fuel, and we will run that through the night on zero and sub-zero weather, just to make sure that we don't have problems in here. To come tomorrow morning, we're gonna get in the barn probably about 4:30. Check on all the things, make sure that there's no water lines frozen. We'll probably go through, dump some hot water in some drinkers to thaw them out, and then we'll get started on milking. If we have a whole bunch of snow, we may have to take skid loaders and dig pathways to get the cows from their stalls into the parlor. Today we feed the cows twice a day. I've made 2 extra batches of feed today so that we will not have to try to get that tractor running and to feed the cows. So they're going to get pre-fed. They've got an extra large all-you-can-eat buffet in front of them today. But yeah, it's just tomorrow's going to be try to deal with whatever catastrophes we have in addition to doing our normal cleaning and milking things. If you have more questions, comments, be sure to leave comments down below. We'd love to hear from you.